Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of our shooting program. Welcome to the shooting show, friends. We have so many things we want to talk about today, a lot of stuff we're going to be doing. We're going to go back and pick up some footage that we had run some time ago that I think you'll be really interested in seeing, certainly some informative things. But I tell you what, we want to do a little preview today, friends. Here is the one of the government-approved and promoted self-defense devices. For now, this is your common slingshot. And we also have some government-approved and 100% biodegradable ammunition for our slingshot. Now, of course, we'll have a number of choices in ammunition. This is one of those little powdered donuts that you can get down at your convenience store, or yeah, here comes my dog, because when we're through shooting them, he can eat them, you know. So, honestly, friends, this is what the anti-gun people have in mind. See, nobody gets hurt if you shoot donuts or marshmallows. It'll be fine. That'll be good. Look here, Blue. So you can put your official ammunition in the slingshot here and pull it back and well, you can actually hit with them. But you know, it didn't have very much effect. And guess what, friends? This is what the anti-gun people have in mind, is putting us back to slingshots, maybe. And I'm sure there will be regulation on the ammunition that you could shoot in your slingshot, so it would not be possibly harmful. Well, friends, that there's just several things that I want to talk about today at the intro of our show. But you know what? These people, and you got to hand it to the weak-minded liberals, you've got to hand it to the anti-gun people, because you know what? A very small percentage of people who don't like firearms, of course they have promotion from those folks who really understand guns, and they like guns for their side, in the hands of brown shirts or Nazi types that work for the government, or in the hands of only the government. They understand the power of firearms, and they understand the power of the American public when we possess arms. And friends, that's what it's about. You know, we have one of the very few crusades or projects where there are an active group of people trying to hurt our project, trying to literally do anything they can to get a positive image of firearms off TV. And here's what distresses them so much. They know, one, we're telling the truth, we're just presenting the facts, and they can't deal with it. And they know if the American people sees the truth and sees the facts, they're going to make the right decision. And that is the rub, friends, because these people don't want you to have the facts. They want to demonize or vilify anything that goes bang. And yes, handguns are really taking the hit. Right now in California, there are some new laws readjusting the assault rifle definition. Before, it was just the military look-alike type things, because none of us ever had out here in the countryside, never really had assault guns, because by definition assault guns are fully automatic, whereas our semi-automatic rifles, you pull the trigger one time, you get one bang. So none of us ever had them. So now that's not good enough. See, we told you this. We have already said this. Right now in California, they're calling the Marlin Camp carbine. Oh, that's an assault gun now. The Ruger Mini 14, which doesn't look anything like an AR-15, that's going to be reclassified as an assault gun. And honestly, I heard Ken Hamlin say a little earlier that this great black radio talk show host, he said that the folks in California have 1/3 less freedoms than those of us in most of the other states, and that's something to be said for that. We hear from a tremendous number of very fine and decent people in California, but we're watching California come apart before our very eyes. It's not just California either, friends. You know, I kind of chuckle when our good friends at the company Advantage Outlet sent us down these cold steel Bushman knives that go on the end of a broomstick. Here it makes a pretty good spear. But let me tell you what, friends. Heck, this may be all we have left. And no, they won't allow us to have a spear because, you know, you can reach out there a little distance there and you could possibly hurt yourself or someone else. You know, the same deal right now. The weak-minded liberals who realize that a lot of the bureaucracies, they have to justify the money they get. Okay? Now there's a movement to, since it turns out that trucks and sport utility vehicles in an accident are safer than the average passenger car because they weigh more, they're a little heavier. So now the ignorant do-gooders want to take the pickup trucks and the sport utility vehicles away from those of us that have them because they're safer. So let's get down to the least safe, lowest common denominator. This is what they want in education. This is what they want as in a socialist country, friends. Socialism is about equalizing to the lowest common denominator. That's what it's about. You know, that it's incredible. Well, let's say, hey, well, if they're gonna go that far, well, here's something else they can do. You know what? They can put all drivers in crash helmets. They can put us in motorcycle helmets riding down the road. Yeah, it would probably save a life. You know, most of the automobile injuries, people die from head injuries, so they could just require that everyone, when driving a car or automobile, they have to wear a helmet. Okay? That's a logical extension. I mean, it's the way things are headed. If we can't get the government to leave us alone and to stop it, hey, how many of these women, how many of these ladies going to spend all that money at the beauty shop there and then go out and put their crash helmet on? Now, I promise you there'll be an uproar over this if they designate that. But in truth, friends, it would save lives. It would save somebody's life somewhere. It would do it. It will put all the beauty shop people out of business and a whole lot of other things. And a lot of women sure aren't going to like it. But if you want to go all out, everyone driving a car should be forced to wear a crash helmet. You know, a safety helmet inside the little children. Everybody get in the car, put your seatbelt on, put your helmet on. Now that's what it's going to come down to, friends. They have got to be stopped. They have to be. And you know why we're in the mess we're in now? Is because our great silent majority out here, all around us, has been silent. Now that's what it's about. And yes, honestly, I get so disgusted and get angry about it because we have people running their mouth talking about, yeah, well, it's bad. It's bad. It's terrible what the government's doing. New EPA regulations coming up right away. You know about it. I hope you know about that. I'm going to tell you about it right now, where they're proposing a drastic change in lowering the allowances for air pollution. And the air has already gotten cleaner. Business says, including a lot of scientists agree with business, say it's not necessary. It's going to cost billions and billions of dollars to our economy. But you know what, friends? These people in these bureaucracies that work for the government have got to justify their jobs. They have to justify the fantastic amounts of money they get. So what they're going to do, they're going to heap more regulation and more regulation because these people, the socialists, want control of every facet of our lives. And I'm talking about from the food we eat to our recreation to everything we do. They want it controlled. We don't want it. We don't want the New World Order. We don't want socialism. We want to retain a free country. Let me show you a cartoon that one of our viewers sent to us here a day or so ago. I want you to see this. Now, friends, we see a couple of police officers there. You say, we need some tactical weapons. We're in a raging battle down the street. We're outgunned. But the gun shop owner, who is properly following the law, says, I'm sorry, officers, there's a 5-day waiting period. How do you like that? You know, that cartoon is so right on the point there because literally, these are the sorts, or this sort of logic is what is taking over, friends. And you know what? Right now, we're losing the battle. And I've said this before, we're losing the battle to retain our gun rights. And we're being pushed around by a small group of people. By far, the majority of the American population agrees with us that we should be able to own and properly use firearms. Just like the crash helmet, they're going to put a crash. You know, friends, living itself, there is danger in getting out of bed every day. You know, if you refuse to get out of bed, you'll die from all kinds of things. You'll starve if you don't get out of bed. You know, life itself is taking a chance. Just getting up, walking around, doing anything is taking a chance. There is no way, as I've said before, the ultimate security would be to be locked up in solitary confinement. Let me show you something. Here we have this month's Reader's Digest, the July Reader's Digest. This just came. Page 114. There's an article here. It's called the, here we go, right next to the article on the White House. Was it really for sale? I don't think there's any question about that. Anyway, right after the White House article, page 114 says, Night of the Wolf. Well, these folks were camping in Ontario, Canada, and it was a family was camping, and they had a wolf come up and attack their son sleeping in a sleeping bag. And the wolf was not afraid. You know, a lot of wild animals now, mountain lions, wolves, have lost their fear of people. And you know, they couldn't run it off. They had a wolf there, and they couldn't make it run. The wolf wasn't terribly afraid, and the little boy lost a lot of blood. It bit him on the ear, tore up his face. A terrible thing. You know what, friends? If those folks had had a .357 Magnum, all right, in Canada, Canada's been very restrictive on gun ownership entirely right now, of course, and certainly handguns, but even a .22 rifle, a single shot .22 rifle, could have made all the difference, because there they were in really serious danger, because you can take a wolf out with a well-placed .22 rifle shot. You know, friends, what in the world? We have devices. You know, the slingshot and the spear were much earlier devices of defense. And we really have progressed, although it may come back to it. I tell you what, in a place where you couldn't own a gun, I tell you, a spear would be pretty formidable. Hey, if that's all I had, I'd use what I had. But we have devices that have been around for some time now that do make defense of smaller statured people, of one individual against a gang of others. This equalizes the odds, friends, and literally these are being taken away. What can you do about it? You can help us stay on the air, for one thing. The Shooting Show needs your help. We're here today because of the generous contributions, and I say generous because a lot of people out there, the wonderful letters we get, generous contributions that literally people say, well, we don't have much, but we're going to send what we can. And trust me on this one, friends, those checks of $10 and $25 and $50 and $75, $100, we've had some people send as much as $200, $250, and we really, really do appreciate it. These contributions that you have made are keeping us on the air as we speak. Our sponsors are certainly helping. We're trying to do more. We have some wonderful things on the horizon that we can do, but we need your help to get there. And this is something else that really gets next to me. Sometimes we have some really wealthy people that watch our program, and I'm glad you're wealthy. But these same folks say, yeah, something's got to be done. Something's got to be done. Yeah, we've got to make our point, and I'm going down and buy gold and buy ammunition. I'm going to hide away in the ground. Well, a lot of good that's going to do you if you're the last one left with firearms. And if and when the government brown shirts come to your home, do you think, if none of your neighbors are armed, do you think they're going to help you? No, they're not. and they come out there with their metal detectors and they go find those guns you've got buried and the ammunition you got buried. Well, all that's well and good. Maybe it makes you sleep better at night, but in the end, it's not going to do you a doggone bit of good. Now is the time to fight our battle. It is now. It is with these politicians. It is educating as many people as possible. It's got to be done, friends. It has to be done. We are the #1 shooting show in the world, the #1 shooting show that has ever been. And the reason is we're not afraid to tell the truth. But we've got to have your help to get the truth out to more and more people. Friends, we're gaining cable companies every week. There are cable companies that will take this program because, one, they find out people will watch our show and they can actually make money on it. But friends, we have got to have your help. Somebody out there, somebody could do it. And no, I don't like asking for help, but doggone it, it's got to be done. If we're going to stay on the air, if we're going to make our mark, if we're going to help retain our gun rights, we've got to do it. I've got to ask for your help. Somebody out there, someone could write us a check for $5,000. Someone could write us a check for $10,000. If we had $10,000 in operating capital, our future would just about be assured, because you know what, friends? The truth cannot be stopped. But the problem is we've got to get it out now. We can't afford the luxury of waiting and let somebody else somewhere down the line get it out maybe someday. You know what? There were plenty of people in the Soviet Union who knew the truth. But it didn't do them any good because the government had all the weapons. The government had total control of their lives. It's one thing to know the truth, couldn't do anything about it. There are a lot of people in communist China that know the truth, but there's nothing they can do about it because the government has control of it. All right, right now in our country, we can still turn this thing around. It doesn't have to go back to any sort of altercation in the streets. No thinking person wants a confrontation between the government and the citizens. No thinking person wants that. It's got to be stopped and averted now. The other side, the liberal anti-gun people, they stand up every day for what they believe in. Every day, the media is on TV. The major media, which is anti-gun, admittedly, 90% admitted liberal of the national media, admitted, slanted all the way. See, they work every day. What about us? The majority of our people in this country, what about us? No, we say, well, let the NRA do it. NRA can't do it. They can't do it by themselves. Let Gun Owners of America, though, they can't do it by themselves. It's going to take us all working together. It's going to take you at home. A friend of ours called from Massachusetts the other day, and he said, Johnny, he's not in real good health. He says, tell you what I do, I put posters out at the gun club, put posters out at the gun shops about what's going on, about what we've got. I said, great. I said, you know what? I said, you're as important as anybody else because you're doing what you can. If all of us just did what we can, we could turn this thing around in a New York minute. But the problem is the silent majority is at work again being silent. Friends, it is not going to work. It is not going to work if we continue to be silent, if we continue to roll over and play dead and let these people get away with it. You know, that's what our fight's about. Please, if you can, please, if we can survive another 2 or 3 months, some things will open up for us and we feel like we have a wonderful opportunity to increase our broadcast strength. This is at hand, friends, but we have to survive financially to do it. We have some great things that are coming to us if we can just survive to get there. Please, whatever you can send, if it's $10, $100, $1,000, whatever it is that you can do, please help us now, because now is when it counts. Please, whatever you can, send to the shooting show, 327 Urban Rowland Road in Dubberly, Louisiana. Our zip code is 71024. Our phone numbers are area 318-377-5189. If you want to talk about advertising, please call Bobby Christie, our marketing director. And Bobby will be happy to talk to you. I will too, for that matter. I don't care if you've got a paint and body shop, if you've got a craft shop, or if you've got a steel mill. We don't care. We can advertise it for you. You can charge it off your taxes. Get some help from the government. Let's do it, friends, because right now our project has got to be stabilized. We're hanging in the balance. And another thing too, please support our sponsors. Tim with NWI told me this week, said, look, Johnny, to help, every gun that is bought off your show, our 1919 Browning conversion to semi-automatic, they're going to give our project an extra $300. They're going to take $300 that they would make, and they're going to contribute it to our project in order to help. Now, friends, that's real cooperation. That's NWI, the good folks out there who make the 1919 Browning. That area code, that number and phone number, area 503-429-5001. For every gun they sell on this program, they will contribute another $300. And friends, $300 to us is big money. Right now, it is big money. It certainly is. So please, if you can help us, there are people out there who could write a larger check. And certainly the larger checks like that, in 6 months, hopefully less than a year, we might even be able to pay it back. But friends, this is an investment in your and our future as gun owners. If we don't do it now, hey, if we don't do it now, you like this? You know, do you like the slingshot? You like the government-approved ammunition here? Hey, you know, you like that? Well, this is what's coming. This is what we're going to be down to: sticks, stones, and spears, slingshots, because that's what they have in mind. If we don't stand now, if we don't do it now, and the Clintonians are moving at a rapid pace, whatever they can do to vilify guns, to take them away, to make them evil instruments, you know, they're going as fast as they can. They have got to be stopped. We can do it, but we've got to stay on the air to do it. Please, friends, if you can help us, the Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road, Beverly, Louisiana, the zip code 71024. Slick, huh? I tell you what, friends, this works better.
Stay tuned for more of The Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station. know, friends, all of us as shooting enthusiasts should be subscribing to Shotgun News, the trading post for anything that shoots. 3 big issues monthly with literally thousands and thousands of firearms bargains. Give them a call, 1-800-345-6923, a very inexpensive subscription price. Again, 1-800-345-6923. Subscribe today. Now, friends, here it is. This is the great 1919 Browning converted to semi-automatic from the good people at NWI. This is your chance to own a real piece of history. They're very collectible. They're also a lot of fun to own and shoot, and very reasonably priced, certainly for what you get. The 1919 Browning is from NWI. That phone number, area 503-429-5001. They also have the ammunition special still going on. 30-06 ammunition, only 18 cents a round, surplus in the belt. So give them a call today, NWI, for the great 1919 Browning conversion. Also remember, they have the A6 conversion with the shoulder stock and the bipod. But these are tremendous pieces of history, also great shooters. So give them a call today, the 1919 Browning from NWI, area 503-429-5001.
Friends, I want to remind you, we have T-shirts now, thanks to our good friend Ron DeLong. We have shooting show T-shirts, and if you'd like to have one, we have a variety of sizes from small all the way to extra large, which is what I wear. If anyone is wondering how big they are, well, they certainly fit me comfortably, the extra large. Right now, we don't have any double X, but anyway, these are very nice shirts, $19.95. And we appreciate so much our good friend Ron DeLong helping us on this. So anyway, we do have them. You can call us if you'd like to get a T-shirt. We're getting them out as fast as we can, believe me. We had a letter asking us to do some pieces with some of the old surplus military guns. This is a 1917 Enfield, actually. And we ordered this gun through the Sears catalog in 1956 or 7. I was a little boy. Paid $11 for it. It's a very serviceable gun, has a 10-round magazine, and believe me, this was an assault gun in the minds of a lot of soldiers for a long time, a bolt-action rifle. And don't worry, friends, there are going to be the anti-gun crowds coming after these too. They'll call these assault rifles before long. We know they're really not, but that's what they're going to be called. But it's really amazing. A lot of these old guns are still good shooters. One of the problems that you had on the old military guns, realized that up until 50s, 60s, even 70s in some countries, they, although they had gone to smokeless gunpowder, non-corrosive gunpowder, the priming compound on a lot of the old military ammunition, including American ammunition, military ammunition up through, I guess, into the 60s or so, the priming compound was corrosive, and the guns had to be cleaned after they were shot. You know, you could get it out pretty easy. It wasn't a real problem, but it had to be done. And realize a lot of these older guns. I got this model 96 Mauser in 1967, I believe, 7 or 8, at a Kmart Blue Light Special, $13. And it's in 7x57 Mauser chambering, and actually the old gun still shoots pretty good. The bore's pretty rough on it. And I want to caution you about, if you have a gun that you inherit from someone or you pick up at a garage sale or something, and it's one of these old rifles like this, the smart thing to do for very minimal expense is take it to a reputable gunsmith. Now, we've still got just about any town that I know of reasonable size is going to have a gunsmith available. And of course, there are all kinds of gunsmiths around the country. They'll be in the yellow pages, and get them to take a look at it. And these fellows will normally give you a good opinion on whether or not the guns are safe to shoot. Now realize that this gun, since it's a 96 Mauser, could date back to pre-1900. It could, I don't think it does. It's dated 1924. But the steel manufacturing capabilities of the factories before about 1915 or so was dramatically less as far as strength and quality. So you really, if there's any question at all about whether the gun's shootable, you really ought to take it and have it examined by a gunsmith. Something we have found, for instance, on this old Enfield, on factory or surplus ammunition, you don't know where this thing's going to shoot. The old bore is fair, but the surplus ammunition, 303 British ammunition we had, you just don't know if it's going to go over here or go over there. But we worked up some hand loads for it, whereas it really shoots really well, surprisingly well, inside 2.5 inches out of 100 yards. I think with open sights, that's about as good as I can shoot anyway. We never have put a scope on it, but it goes to show, even if the bore doesn't look that terrific, you can hunt around for through hand loads and different types of ammunition. And just like this old gun here, I had pretty much given up on it and said, well, we'll do a loading project for it. And sure enough, we found one that would shoot and perform well. So it just comes down to hunting through different types or brands or different loads of ammunition, and you may be able to get them to shoot. But that's a suggestion that we have. If there's any question on the mechanical safety of one of these guns, if there's any question, please have it checked by a gunsmith and let them look at it. They'll be able to tell you whether or not the gun's safe to shoot. Some of these old guns are perfectly safe with factory ammunition, but you don't want to put a warm hand load through them. So some of them have capabilities up to a point, and in the case of the 4570 cartridge, it is dramatically downloaded from what can be gotten out of it, just due to the fact that there are a lot of old guns out there that a higher pressured ammunition should not be shot in. So anyway, that's our suggestion there, and who knows, we may get to do another piece with these guns and just see again, refresh ourselves on what their capabilities actually are. Tell you what, they're as rugged as can be and very desirable as collectibles, and when you get a good one, it was built to withstand trench warfare. And I tell you, none of us are going to have conditions that difficult, and they can surely be a lot of fun to own and shoot.
Stay tuned for more of The Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station. Friends, if you really want your AR-15 to shoot to its full potential, you need to get some Georgia Arms ammunition. Whatever kind of gun you have, long gun or handgun, you can certainly help its performance with ammunition from our good friends at Georgia Arms.
Hey, what, friends, the good people at Georgia Arms do understand what's going on in this country. They understand how important our gun rights are, and they're supporting us on this project. The good news is you can get absolutely superior ammunition at discount prices, whether you have a handgun or a rifle. If you want to take that big hunt, you can afford to practice with your rifle as well as use that same ammunition on the hunt because they are so reasonably priced. These are some of the nicest people we have ever met in this business, bar none, and they're down in beautiful Villa Rica, Georgia. So please, friends, if you would, you can get a free catalog with a free phone call. That's as good as the deal gets. A free catalog, free phone call, 1-800-624-6861. Again, Georgia Arms, 1-800-624-6861. And please tell them you saw it here on our shooting show. Well, friends, we're going to do a little brief demonstration here. We have a couple of grapefruit. We've got a potato out here on our tree stumps there. And a lot of people really take the .22 long rifle for granted. Many times, and of course we have to be safety conscious on this program. And we have showed this sometime, or part of this some time ago in the past, and we want to touch on it again today. A lot of people would look at the diminutive size of the .22 long rifle and they look at that and say, well, oh, there's nothing to worry about, nothing to take seriously. Well, let me tell you what. Let's put one in our 1920s vintage Winchester single-shot rifle, and let's take a look at just what a .22 high-speed bullet will do to some common things that we're familiar with, like this grapefruit and that potato. Let's look at that now. See, it definitely did a job on the grapefruit. And let's try the same drill on our volunteer potato out there and see what happens with the .22 high velocity hollow point. Now, friends, the point of this is we need more people to understand just how potent, it's an old gun, just how potent even the .22 rifle is. Heard a story one time about the government used to issue some of the Eskimos .22 rifles, and we have some viewers in northern Alaska, and see if you can research this story, but I got it from a pretty good source, that maybe all the Indian had up in the Eskimo, all he had was a single shot .22, very much like this old Winchester here, and said they'd hunt bears with them. And the way they'd do it, it seems that just before the bear, if he thinks he finds lunch and he thinks he's still got to kill something, he'll rear up and open his mouth and roar sometimes. And the Eskimo will be laying there with his .22 pointed up, and when the bear would roar, he would nail the bear right in the top of the mouth with his .22 single shot. Now, you know, that's just a little braver than I had in mind. And, you know, sometimes .22s misfire. I mean, all of them do. And I guess then they had one less Eskimo and in that case, but I understand that is true. Would not be my weapon of choice against a bear or a lot of other stuff. Anything that would bite back, no, it would not be my weapon of choice. But I think that a lot of us don't really consider the distances that even a .22 can go, and we don't. You know, you can hold a potato up, and heck, you can drop it on the floor. It's not going to burst, most of them, and this grapefruit's a pretty tough thing, and you can take your kids out, and you can shoot one of these potatoes or a piece of fruit or something, and you can show, say, wait a minute, this is just a .22, but it is, in fact, a real gun with a considerable amount of destructive power in those little bullets. So you can say, well, hey, your brain's about the size of this grapefruit here. That's why we never, ever point guns, even if it's a .22, even if it's a pellet gun, at anything that we can't afford to lose. We don't point at our pets. We don't point at each other. I saw a couple of young men one time that came in off the street in a gun shop, and they had picked up a gun on the rack, and were doing some horseplay type things with it, and the gun shop owner went over and took it away and said, "Oh no, no, we don't play. These are not toys. They're serious tools." And our young people have got to be instructed. Right now, there is a drive on, because they know that from people like myself, people like most of you watching, the government's not going to change our minds, because we already know the truth about guns. So now they're trying to get to our children, and they're going to try and vilify guns, try and make them evil instruments. So they figure, well, heck, maybe they can get the bunch coming up to say that they don't want guns, don't want to be around guns, don't want to have guns in our society. And that's the tack they're taking. And our young people have to be instructed. And you know, when you show some simple things like what we just did to your children, you may prevent an accident, because if your child knows how to properly handle guns and they know the destructive capability of even a .22, and they see one of their friends handle a gun, many times peer pressure, the kids will be quiet, but in this case they say, well, wait a minute, put the gun down, let's get an adult. Do not, it's not a toy, it's not a plaything, and your child might be able to prevent an accident with someone else too. So something we thought that we might show you. Well, friends, we've been talking about this pyruvate that we've been getting through the American Freedom Network. In fact, we've been telling you to call them. Well, honestly, I've had so many calls about pyruvate. And let me show you something. Let me take my gun belt off here. And friends, you know how long I have been fighting, because I've had a weight problem most of my life. It's been a very difficult situation for me. And of course, I lost some weight. Like it's happened to a lot of you out there, you'll lose a pretty good chunk of weight. Then you get down to that last 15 or 20 pounds, and it just doesn't seem to go away. Well, let me show you something. In fact, let's look at yours truly. About 3 weeks ago at our Fun Gun Weekend, I got a great profile shot here. So let's take a look at me just 3 weeks ago. And I'll show you something here. I want you to, and yeah, it's a little embarrassing, but heck, that's just me. I mean, you know, like a lot of us, you know, that's this area right around here, just that excess. And okay, I think we got that tape now. Go ahead, let's splice it in. And okay, friends, now take a look at my stomach and where it is over my belt. All right, well, let's come back to me. All right, friends, we didn't get the pyruvate until just a little over a couple of weeks ago. Okay, now check my profile now. Now this is in, look, and yeah, I got work left to do. Yeah, I know it. I'm still working on it. Heck, I've only been on it 2 weeks. But I want you to see, now this is a dramatic improvement, and I just had lunch too. A dramatic improvement in where I was with my stomach just 3 weeks ago. I mean, this is incredible stuff. It's pyruvate. And I told Don at the American Freedom Network, I said, look, this stuff is so good, let me set it on the show. And he said, well, sure, that would be fine. So, okay. And, of course, we're still promoting it through the American Freedom Network. But if you would like to lose some weight, leave the muscle alone. You know, that's a problem with a lot of weight loss situations. You lose muscle as well as fat tissue. This stuff here is all natural. It's been under 27 years of scrutiny, 27 years in testing and looking at it. Has no side effects. It is all natural. It is a very powerful antioxidant, very desirable in helping prevent all kinds of disease and cancers, other stuff too. Antioxidants are super, super desirable to have. Very powerful antioxidant. Really good for you. And honestly, friends, and I need the energy now too. During this time on our project, trust me, I need the energy. And honestly, you feel so good you can't hardly stand yourself. So, Pyruvate Plus, call me on my voicemail and leave your name and phone number. And one of us, within a short period of time, call me for it now, because we'll get a little commission on this if we sell it. You can get involved, and you can get some commission too if you want to. It's a very fine company that it comes from. The stuff is available, Pyruvate Plus. Call me, Johnny Rowland, area 318-682-4218. Again, area 318-682-4218. 888-4218. Leave your name and phone number. Please include your area code, and we'll call you back about Pyruvate Plus. Friends, this is better than all the other stuff we tried combined, because it really does work. And I tell you, it is so much fun. I can get in those pants I hadn't been able to get in years. So really, I tell you, just like the picture showed, this is a whole lot for me within a couple of weeks, and give me a couple of more weeks, and it's going to be down further. I still got work to do, and you feel so good. You don't have to change the way you eat. You don't have to change your exercise program unless you want to. So Pyruvate Plus, give me a call on my voicemail, area 318-682-4218. It's for real, friends. You want to help yourselves and help us too. This is another way you can do it. I'm wearing this full-length duster available from Olson Brothers, and this great hat, of course, from the Lynch Hat Works there in Olson Brothers out in Spokane, Washington. And I tell you what, friends, this is a tremendous cold weather coat, whatever you need a good strong coat for to stay warm. It would be great outdoors for any sort of work or just for show, or certainly it looks nice enough you can wear it to town on Saturday night if you want to. These are available for $100 to our shooting show audience. These great long dusters, and they're just terrific. I've seen these things go for as much as $250, and honestly, that is a great price for our shooting show audience, so we need to give them a call. They also have these terrific hats that are handmade in all numbers of or assortments of styles or whatever else. These are very reasonably priced. What you need to do, you need to give Olson Brothers a call out there, and the Lynch Hat Works, of course, is inside Olson Brothers. Let me remind you, they also clean and block hats. If you got a hat you need worked on, they can do it for you. They have this little neat little newspaper type thing. You can give them a call, area 509-328-4617. And let me remind you, they have all sorts of accessories like colognes and spurs and all sorts of neat stuff. So friends, please remember, they're helping to keep our shooting show on the air. So if you need authentic Western clothing at a terrific price, just give our friends out there at Olson Brothers a call. I'll give you that number again, area 509-328-4617, and please tell them you saw it here on the program.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station. Now, friends, Tina is holding one of the great cold steel knives available from our friends at Advantage Outlet. They have a wide variety, all kinds of knives from Cold Steel and from Spyderco. Now, friends, the good news is the Advantage Outlet prices are absolute discount prices. So what you can do, you can get a free catalog with a free phone call. Advantage Outlet, 1-800-561-1719, or you can find them on the internet, www.advantageoutlet.com/knives. Again, advantageoutlet.com/knives. Well, friends, we hope you're enjoying our program today. The judge is tied up on He's tied up this afternoon and can't be with us, but let me explain to you where we are. We have some great opportunities with our project, like I was talking about earlier on the show today, if we can just survive. I do want to mention our good friends at Custom Leatherwork and Saddlery down in Denham Springs, Louisiana, Dennis and Jeannie Ritchie. They have been so faithful about supporting our project, and if you need any sort of leather work done, from repairs, sales, special orders are welcome with them. They even make harnesses for guide dogs, which I think is rather unique. You can give them a call at area 504-667-9225. Again, area 504-667-9225. Now, friends, our project hangs in the balance, and that balance can be shifted by money. So please, and I get tired of saying this, you know what, and you may get tired of hearing it, but there are so many things we need to do. If we can expand our programming, and right now we have a real opportunity with one of the larger independent networks that wants to start running our program. It's going to take money to get on, not a terrible large amount, but this is a real opportunity. We can double, triple, maybe even increase our viewing audience maybe 4 times. This is a major advancement that is coming available to us if we can just raise the funding to do it. Now, what our battle is about is reaching more people, because what we have got to have are more phone calls, more faxes, more letters going to congressmen and senators. We also have got to do this on the state level, like we're talking about what's going on in California. It seems that some of these legislators, when they have nothing else no bandwagon they can possibly get on, want to start striking against us as gun owners and start striking against our gun rights. Right now, so many things are happening in our country. Let me just update you on a couple of things. One, Clinton has a crime bill that he's working on, juvenile crime bill. This trigger lock deal is part of this, and this is really scary, friends. Do you want to lock up, do you want to have a trigger lock on every gun you own? I mean, literally disabling whatever guns you have. I mean, they're proposing this, and it's crazy. I don't know what has happened to Orrin Hatch. I really don't know, but we've got to contact him and the Judiciary Committee that he is chairing. Friends, this is serious. So many things are happening right now. Our country is literally coming apart. Did you know, according to information we picked up here a few days ago, there is a bounty right now. Some of the Mexican drug dealers have posted a $10,000 reward for the home addresses of Border Patrol officers. Can you believe that? I mean, and recently Clinton went down to Mexico and they said, oh, well, he sure wouldn't want the DEA agents or Border Patrol officers, if they cross over to Mexico, oh, they wouldn't come armed. No, nothing like that. Where people on the Mexican side are literally shooting, they're taking shots at our officers. You know, this is unreal, and the Washington establishment is ignoring this. I flatly cannot understand it. I can't. Right now, when the Clinton's trying to give the Chinese communists a military base in Long Beach, California, turns around after all the contributions that the Chinese made to his campaign, and he gives them $50 million in shipbuilding aid. What's this about, friends? Wait a minute. And now the Chinese communists control both ends of the Panama Canal. This is insane. You know what we can do about this is we can tell people. That's what we're doing here today. We're telling you, and you're going to tell somebody else, but first of all, you've got to have the facts. If you want to see our broadcast arrangement continue, if you want to see our programming continue on television, this program, the gospel show, the other things that we have planned, what you can do about it is you can sit down and write a check to the Shooting Show, And you can send it to 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Beverly, Louisiana, the zip code 71024. If you want to call us and talk about helping, you can do that. You can call me at area 318-377-5189. Or you can call Bobby. If you have anything you can advertise, we sincerely need your advertising dollar. You can charge it off. If you got $25 a week, if you got $100 a week, whatever you got, we'll try and work something out with it. Well, friends, the only reason that we're coming to you with this plea is because we believe that our job, what we're doing here, our efforts are essential to help stem this tide that is being fought against us, the American citizen, the free American. The free American. Can you believe this thing about wanting to take away all sport utility vehicles from us because they're more safe? Can you believe this? Well, right now, our homes are more safe. Our good friend, a good friend of ours down in Georgia the other day called, and we said this on the radio show the other day. I don't know if I got to it on the last shooting show, but one of his neighbors up the street told him he didn't like guns, didn't have a gun in his home, wouldn't have one, didn't think people ought to have them. And my friend volunteered the information and said, tell you what I'll do. We'll get a 4x8 piece of plywood and we'll put on the side of this saying that you don't own any guns, don't want any guns, and you just want everyone to know this. And he said, oh no, I couldn't do this. My friend said, well, who protected your home last night? He said, well, the police did. He says, you mean the police came to your house, spent the night? He said, well, no, they didn't. But he said, well, the police didn't protect your home last night. And he says, well, I sure wouldn't put that sign up that says, well, what protected your home was the criminal did not know whether or not there were guns in your home that you could defend yourself and your family. That's what kept them away. He said, well, I don't want to put that sign up. I said, well, why not? This is what you say you believe in. If you don't believe we all ought to have guns, well, just announce to the world that you don't have any. But he didn't want to do that, friends. He didn't want to do that because this individual knew that the police didn't protect his home. It was the doubt that a criminal mind might have had whether or not there were guns in his household. And right now, as we've said it, I've said it a dozen times, if I've said it once, we're losing this battle. A lot of the gun companies have said in the past, well, we pay the NRA. That's not enough. And they said, well, we run ads in magazines. Well, who do you think buys gun magazines? Just other gun owners, enthusiasts already. Our programming is about not just reaching the enthusiast, but is about reaching the non-gun person, the person that may be on the fence, that may not know much about guns. A lot of these women out there are starting to pay attention now. They've got to be reached. And this is the only place on television where this message is available. This is it. Please, if you will, please help us to stay on the air. Friends, we're near a real breakthrough for all our efforts. It's not just for me, it's not for Leroy Scott, it's not for my family, no. It's what we're all about here, trying to preserve our freedom and preserve our rights as gun-owning Americans. Friends, somebody's got to do it. We're here in the trenches now, but we can't do it without your help. Please send whatever you can to the Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Beverly, Louisiana, the zip code 71024. Our phone numbers again, area 318-377-5189. I know, just like you do too, there are people out there who could write us a bigger check. And trust me on this one, friends, there cannot be a better investment of your funds toward keeping the message of proper firearms rights going out all over this country. Friends, it's got to be done. Now's the time. It's not 6 months or 6 years down the road, because our enemy is at the wolf's at the door now, is coming in the window. It's got to be done now. Please hang in there with us, friends. We have a long way to go. Watch our gospel show on G4, channel 14, Sunday morning, 10 to 10:30 Eastern Time, and our radio show on the Great American Freedom Network on GE1, channel 7, 5.8 audio from noon until 2 o'clock on Sunday. So, again, we want to thank you for being with us today. Please do what you can. Please help us if you can. It's for all of us. And we'll see you on the next show. We want to remind you, friends, about the Earlene Mandrell first annual Celebrity Shoot, June 27 through 29 in Evansville, Indiana, at the Evansville Gun Club. For information, call area 812-768-6370, or you can fax them at area 615-230-7031.